So as you could tell by the title, you could tell by the thumbnail, Verdansk is returning in Modern Warfare 3. That is not speculation, that is not guessing, that is not leaks, that is confirmed. However, it's returning in a very strange way, and we actually have some details straight from the mouth of Sledgehammer that explain how this is going to happen. And in this video, we are going to discuss exactly how that is, the locations that we already know are going to be there, and on top of that, how it is even possible that Verdansk is there in the first place. Because if you forgot, this is how things ended in Verdansk 3 years ago. So Verdansk completely got nuked, and don't worry, we're going to discuss that later on in the video and how it's even possible that we're in Verdansk already 3 years later. But first, I wanted to look at the locations that we have already actually seen footage and gameplay of within game. The first of which was from the very first gameplay mission called Operation 627, where we have a bunch of PMCs going into the prison. Now, it is confirmed from Sledgehammer themselves that this is Zordaya, I'm probably saying that wrong, but prison from Verdansk. It is in Verdansk. It's the exact same prison that was on the map. And it's very easy to tell as you go through these several different scenes in this first gameplay mission that this is the exact same prison. The outside looks exactly the same. The inside and the bowels of it are all exactly the same as what we played in Verdansk for years. The second location was actually the one that was given to us first, and it was briefly seen in a couple of different trailers, but it is Verdansk Stadium. There appears to be some sort of attack on the stadium that takes place within Modern Warfare 3, which means Verdansk Stadium is also another one of those locations returning as well. And then the final one that we saw very in-depth yesterday with the open combat missions is the dam. Again, the exact same dam that we saw on the Verdansk Warzone map, once again making a return. And we see this in the open combat mission where you play as Simon Ghost Riley. That'll come into play in a minute when we talk a little bit more in depth as to how this is even possible in the first place. But yeah, Dam is making a return as well. So when we see all of this, everything that we have seen is within the campaign. So Verdansk is 100% in the campaign. We'll talk about story-wise and everything revolving around that in a minute. So we know it's in the campaign, but we don't know whether or not it is coming to Warzone. Now, Charlie Intel tweeted this yesterday saying, Verdansk is only confirmed to be returning in Warzone Mobile. There is already a new Warzone map planned for this fall, and the Modern Warfare 3 campaign areas of Verdansk were mentioned by Sledgehammer Games as only being certain areas of the map, not the entire map. So, what does that mean? Very cryptic and hard to understand. What I take away from that is there are going to be areas on this new Warzone map that are from Verdansk. However, the map itself is not Verdansk. But what we do know from it being in the story, seeing the prison, seeing the dam, and everything in between is that Verdansk is, at the very least, still in the canon and still going to be in the game. Now we have to answer that question, how is that even possible when Verdansk went boom? Now, if you don't remember, the destruction of Verdansk was all revolving around zombies. Zombies came to Verdansk, they overran it, and then we had to blow it up to stop them from completely taking over and spreading outside of Verdansk. Now, one completely plausible option is that the zombies lore and what is going on with the zombies is not canon within the overarching Modern Warfare story. This was a dream or something else altogether, like King Kong and Godzilla going into Verdansk as well. But from everything that I've heard and the way that they designed this, they wanted this destruction of Verdansk to be canon, tying together the zombie storyline, the Modern Warfare universe, and everything in between. So that kind of eliminates that one as well, unless they completely retcon it, which is possible that they do so. So the other thing that we have to look at is, what if the bomb actually went off. So to fully understand what we're talking about here, you first have to understand where Verdansk is in relation to the rest of the world. Keep in mind, Kostovia, where this takes place, is a fictional place that is made up for the Modern Warfare universe, but it is based off of a real world location. And if we look at a map, that map is just a little bit south of Georgia, the country, not the state. Now, I found this website that actually shows you the size of nuclear explosion based off of the size of them and where they are and things along those lines. So I've kind of picked that location, and you can see if we have a relatively small nuke. So the nuke we're looking at here is a 100 kiloton nuke. This nuke would destroy an area or vaporize an area of 0.46 kilometers squared, which is relatively small. If you want to know, the general size of the Verdansk map is about 9 kilometers squared. However, if we go and look at the SAR bomb, which is the one that the USSR tested and most likely the one that was on the Warzone map, and we detonate that one, we have a much larger radius of 67 kilometers squared that it would actually destroy. And if we once again zoom out, that pretty much looks like the size of Verdansk on the Kostovia map that we looked at before. So basically what I'm telling you is, depending on the size of the nuke that hit Verdansk, the amount of destruction would be dependent on that. If it was a very small one, like the first one we looked at, generally speaking, the stadium area and downtown would be the only area vaporized. The things around it, windows would be blown out and things like that, and it could definitely be fixed within 3 years. If a big nuke hit it, the entire thing is vaporized and everything is gone. So it's just dependent on how big that nuke actually was, and it's very hard to tell just based off of that video that we looked at. So to answer the question, could Verdansk have been rebuilt within 3 years to explain stadium, dam, and the prison still being standing? It's possible, if it and only if it was a smaller nuke. So as of right now, the options that we have is 1, the zombie attack and the nuke were not canon, or 2, it was canon and it was a smaller nuke and they were able to rebuild Verdansk within 3 years. The other option, and unfortunately this is not one of the options, is that all of those missions where we see Verdansk, they are all flashback missions, but we know this is not the case because in the Operation 627 mission that they showed us of the prison, it takes place in the year 2023 in October, which means it is not a flashback mission before the actual nuke event. So what we are looking at is either zombies were not canon, or number 2, it was a small nuke and they rebuilt Verdansk. And I'm hoping that this is something that they don't just gloss over in the story. I hope they explain the nuke going off, or they straight up come out and say zombies aren't canon within the Warzone universe. I think one of them needs to be said for the story to make sense and have an overall trajectory that we can all understand. But for now, those are our options. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about it. If you like this video looking at what is next for Verdansk, I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say, and hit that like button if you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe and have notifications on to stay up to date on all my videos and to stay up to date on everything Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, and everything Call of Duty. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars.